Good day, ma'am. Good day, mates. I am Rihanna Elnar, together with my partner Eltanel Nina Biancayong, and we are the Group 9, and we will be discussing about Lesson 9, Love, Intimacy, and Relationship. Now let us go to the definition of terms. First is love. It is a complex phenomenon characterized by an affective and cognitive inclination to someone and a set of social behaviors geared towards cohesion. Second is intimacy. The psychosocial component of love, knowing and being known by someone in a deeply personal level, emotional closeness and connection. And the third is passion. The emotive and physical component of love, drive towards sexual and romantic attraction. Fourth is commitment, decision to engage and maintain a loving relationship. And fifth is relationship, social bond between and among individuals manifested through communication and other forms of interaction. This bond may be biological or determined by social contracts such as social consensus or laws. Now let us go to the introduction. In February 15, 2015, an article featuring a study by McCann World Group among 30,000 respondents from 29 countries came out of a national newspaper bannering the title Filipinos Most Expressive About Love Among Asia Pacific Countries Study. The article presented an interesting result. The Filipinos say, I love you, approximately 17 times in a week, making us sixth among the countries in the survey which are most articulate and expressive. Robert Sternberg, the person on the right, a psychologist renowned for his theory of love, asked in his 1986 paper of what does it mean to love someone? Does it always mean the same thing? And if not, in what ways do love differ from each other? In this chapter, we will tackle perhaps one of the most complex and celebrated human emotion and experience: love. Love is a human experience. Love is a human experience differently defined and conceptualized. Love is a culture universal. Love is construed as a culture universal. A culture universal is a phenomenon experienced similarly by people across time and cultures. This means that humans, whether those who live in the past or who are living now, and regardless of their geographic location and social cultural identities, have experienced love in one way or another. Said differently, love is an experience that transcends time and culture. People before us, such as our grandparents, parents, and other adolescents like us who live in other countries, are believed to know and encounter love as we do. The way we appreciate and experience this phenomenon may be unique, but it is a similar phenomenon altogether. Love, everyone experiences it, no matter where they're from or what time period they're in. Even our grandparents, people in our other countries, everyone felt it in some way. That's pretty cool to think about. Now, Robert Sternberg, he doesn't really say love is a universal thing in his theory, but it kind of fits with his ideas. He breaks love down into these three parts, namely intimacy, passion, and commitment. And those things are probably present in every culture, even if they show up differently. When you think about it, everyone wants to feel close to someone, right? That's intimacy. And everyone gets excited about someone at some point. That's passion. Then there's commitment, which is like wanting to stick with someone through thick and thin. Those are pretty basic human needs. So it makes sense that they'll be part of love everywhere. So even though love might look different in different places, the core of it is probably the same. It's a shared human experience that goes beyond time and culture. That is why it's such a powerful and a universal theme in art and stories too. Now let us proceed to love as a social phenomenon. Likewise, love is viewed as a social phenomenon. Social phenomena are events of experiences which ensue within our interaction and relationship with other people. Loving entails communication, the process of giving and receiving information between and among people. It also entails the use of a language symbols that are culturally agreed upon as possessing certain meanings and that are used by people to express certain realities and worldviews. Love happens because of how we interact with other people. That's a really interesting way to think about it. It's not just about having feelings, it's about how we communicate those feelings and how those feelings affect our relationships. Love is all about communication. We tell people we love them, we show them we care, we share things with them. And that communication uses language, which is a way of understanding each other and sharing our experiences. So, love isn't just something that happens in our heads. It's something that happens between people. It's a social phenomenon because it involves all these things, which are communication, language, and relationships. Now let us go to love as an emotion. Love is also construed as an emotion. Emotions are physiological responses that we evaluate psychologically as we experience particular life events. There are basic emotions such as joy, sadness, fear, disgust, and anger, among others. There are also complex emotions, which are a combination of basic emotions and varying magnitudes and are made intricate by circumstances around the experience, just like the people involved, the place, and the time where the emotion is experienced, and so on and so forth. Love, as we know, it is a complex emotion. So, according to his idea, love is not just a thought or a behavior, it's something we actually feel in our bodies. We all know that feeling of butterflies in our stomach when we're around someone we like, or that warm, fuzzy feeling when we're with someone we love. Those are physical reactions that tells us we're experiencing an emotion. And love isn't just one simple emotion, like happiness or sadness. It's more like a mix of different emotions, kind of like a complex recipe. It can be happy, sad, exciting, scary, all at the same time. And it all depends on the situation, who we're with, or what's happening around us. So, yeah, love is definitely an emotion, and it's a complex one. It's like a roller coaster of feelings, and that's what makes it so interesting and powerful. Now let us proceed to love as a neurobiological event. The N is a typographical error, and I do apologize. Now, with recent advancement in science, love now can be studied as a neurobiological event. Every split of a second, information is being passed on within our nervous system, a conglomerate of organs, including our brain, our spinal cord, and our nerves, among others, responsible for our ability to process and transmit essential information among the many organs in our body. The information comes in a form of electrical signal running along our neurons, or nerve cell, which movements is facilitated by our neurotransmitters, a variety of chemicals found in our nervous system. Neurobiologically, the experience of love is associated with various parts of our brain. For instance, the loving experience is commonly associated with the activation of the ventral tegmental area, or VTA, of our brain, which is just right behind our left eyes. It is also associated with increased amount in endorphins, hormones believed to provide humans a good mood. Is it really me, or is science starting to understand how love works on a really basic level, down to the way our neurons fire and our neurotransmitters work? That's pretty cool. So it's like we're finally getting a glimpse into the biological machinery behind this powerful emotion. It's not just some abstract concept anymore, it's a real, tangible process happening in our bodies. Every time we feel that rush of excitement or that warm feeling of connection, it is because of a whole chain reaction of electrical signals zipping through our brains. Neurotransmitters are like little messengers carrying information from one neuron to the next, creating a symphony of activity that makes up love. And it's not just a random activity happening in our brains. Scientists have found that certain areas of the brain light up like a Christmas tree when we're in love. The ventral tegmental area, or the VTA, which is right behind our left eye, as mentioned, is a key player in this love story. It's like the command center for those happy hormones, euphoric feelings we get when we're with someone special. And it's not just the VTA, our brains also release a flood of endorphins, those feeling good hormones that makes us feel happy and relaxed. It's like our brains are throwing a party for love and everyone is invited. So, yeah, love is a neurobiological event, a real life phenomenon that science is finally starting to understand. It's like we're unlocking a secret of the universe, one neuron at a time. Now, theorizing love. Since love is a rather complex idea which can be described, defined, and experienced in myriad of ways, several theories and frameworks offer diverse perspectives on how it can be understood and explained. So, love is not something you can easily put into a box and label. It's more like a swirling cloud of emotions, experiences, and ideas. Like what was mentioned, it is a complex recipe. And because it's so complex, people have been trying to understand love for ages. They've come up with all sorts of theories and frameworks, trying to explain what it is, how it works, and why is it so powerful. It's like everyone's trying to build a different kind of map to navigate this complex landscape of love. So, theorizing love, which I think captures the essence of this ongoing exploration of love, this quest to understand this elusive and fascinating phenomenon. It is like we're all on a journey of discovery, trying to unravel the mysteries of love, one theory at a time, and that journey itself is part of what makes love so captivating and interesting. Now let us go to psychodynamic view on love. This is long, so let's get into it. So, psychodynamic theory is a collective term which pertains to the psychoanalytic tradition forwarded by Sigmund Freud, a Viennese neurologist, as well as the succeeding theories that support, redefine, or refute his propositions. In a nutshell, the psychodynamic theory posits that we have desires and motives fueled by our life, eros, and death, thanatos, instincts. For instance, desirable behaviors that promote positive relationship with others might be viewed as influenced by our life instincts, which aggressive behaviors that hurt, manipulate, or harm ourselves and others might be viewed as influenced by our death instincts. Both the life and death instincts are thought to stream from our conscious, the province of our mind, which we are highly unaware of. Likewise, the psychodynamic view puts prime on the influence of our early life experience, from conception to around 6 years old, referred to as a formative years in our personality development. Crucial to this life stage is our relationship with our primary caregiver, typically the mother. It suggests that the kind of attachment or a psychic bond we have with our priority caregiver or caregivers influence our relationship in later life, including our choice of romantic partners and the way we relate and operate within this partnership. So, psychodynamic view on love. It is like a big family of ideas that started with Sigmund Freud, the famous Viennese neurologist. He came up with the idea that we have this deep, unconscious drives like a hidden part of our mind that influences our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Psychodynamic theory says that we have two main instincts, the eros, which means life, and thanatos, which means death. Think of it as like eros is about wanting to live, connect, and create, while thanatos is about destruction, aggression, and death. These instincts aren't always obvious, though. They're hidden deep in our unconscious mind, which is like a giant iceberg. When you never know what's beneath, we only see a small part of it, but like the bulk of it, it is hidden beneath the surface. So, according to psychodynamic theory, our early experiences, especially our relationship with our primary caregiver, usually our mom, have a huge impact on our personality. It's like our early relationships shape the blueprint of how we connect with others throughout our lives. So, for example, if we had a secure and loving relationship with our mom, we might be more likely to form healthy and fulfilling relationships later on. But if our early experiences were more difficult, it might affect our ability to connect with others, even in romantic relationships. It's a pretty complex idea, but it's a fascinating thing to think about of how our past can shape our present and future relationships. It's like our early experience leave a mark on our hearts and minds, influencing the way we love, connect, and communicate with others. Now let us proceed to the next slide. I like to call the two the shapes of love. So let us start with the color of love. So John Allen Lee, 1973, a Canadian psychologist, suggested that there are different types of love. The primary types are eros, which is sexual and romantic, philia, which is friendly, and storge, which is parental or filial love. The secondary types are pragma, which is practical love, agape, which is universal love, and philosia, which is self love. It is possible for us to experience not just one, but two or more of these types of love in our lifetime. A child who loves her parents or storage might eventually find new friends whom to like once they go to school, which is philia, and then experience romantic love, eros, especially during her youth. Now, for the triangular model of love, one of the most popular theories of love is the triangular model of Sternberg, 1986, a psychologist. This theory looks at love from a psychometric stance, which means that it is generally concerned about trying to measure love as a psychological variable and in determining the various dimensions and facets that has an experience or love has experienced by people. So, color wheel of love. John Allen Lee, a Canadian psychologist, came up with this idea, and it is based on the work of Robert Sternberg, who also has a famous theory about love. And a really cool thing is that we can experience more than one type of love in our lives. Like a child might experience a storge or parental love from their parents, philia for friendship for her friends, and then eros, which is romantic love when they get older. It's like a love journey, with different types of love coming into our lives at different times. So, the color wheel of love is a great way to think about the diversity of love and the many different ways we can experience it. It's like a beautiful tapestry, woven with threads of different kinds of love. So, about Robert Sternberg's triangular theory of love, which is a pretty famous model for understanding love, it's like a puzzle with different pieces fitting together to create different kinds of love. This theory uses a psychometric approach, which basically means it tries to measure and analyze love as a psychological thing. It's like trying to understand love from breaking it down into different parts and seeing how they work together. So, Sternberg's theory says that love is made up of three main components. So, these three main components are intimacy, which this is the feeling of closeness, connection, and trust. It is about sharing your thoughts, feelings, and experiences with someone and feeling comfortable being yourself around them. Second is passion. So, passion is the intense physical and emotional attraction you feel for someone. It's about the excitement, desire, and chemistry that you experienced in a relationship. And third is commitment. So this is the decision to love someone and to stay committed to the relationship, even when things get tough. It's about making a conscious effort to stay together and to work through challenges as a team, as a partner, as one in the relationship. Beside the triangle, there is a chart. The chart categorizes different types of love based on the presence or absence of passion, intimacy, and commitment. Sternberg's triangular theory of love posits that love is composed of these components. The first is infatuation, high passion, low intimacy, and low commitment. This is characterized by intense attraction but lacks emotional depth and long term commitment. The second is compassionate love. It is low passion, high intimacy, and high commitment. This is a deep friendship with strong emotional connection and commitment, but lacks intense passion. The third is fatuous love. It is high passion, low intimacy, and high commitment. So this is a whirlwind of romance with quick commitment but lacks deep emotional connection. The fourth is consummate love. It is high passion, high intimacy, and high commitment. So this represents the ideal form of love, encompassing all three components. It is good to note that love is like a learning process. It gives us a lot of insights, knowledge, and learning. So let us not go too deep about love without first understanding what it is. That is the end of my slide and my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.